Welcome to Cal State Fullerton. We are excited to see you on campus. This video is presented by the International Students and Scholars Office, also known as ISS, which is part of the International Education and Engagement Team at CSUF. Please note that you are required to watch this video until the end to meet your first requirement of being in the United States in F1 student visa status. In this video, I will explain the role of ISS in assisting you to complete your educational journey at Cal State Fullerton, the best ways for you to get assistance from ISS, what is required from you as a student in the United States in F1 visa status. Finally, I will briefly discuss scams and what to do if you are confronted with a scam. There are 3 members of the ISS team that you will spend most of your time communicating with while at Cal State Fullerton. These are your student advisors, Maury Brett and Scott Hamill, as well as the Associate Director, Jean Hoda. We are here to assist you with any immigration or immigration rules-related questions you may have, as well as potential benefits granted to you as a student in F1 status. We can also help you with cultural adjustment and can point you to different offices on campus depending on what service you require. What we do not do is offer academic advising. For this, there are a variety of other advisors on campus, including academic advisors, graduate or faculty advisors, athletic advisors for those who are participating in Cal State Fullerton athletics, and embassy academic advisors for students who are here on a sponsorship from their home government. One thing to note is that friends or the internet are not advisors. There have been too many situations where a student has run into problems because they followed the advice of a friend. Remember that each student's situation is unique, so it is important to always come to an international student advisor with questions about immigration rules and regulations. In short, ISS serves as a liaison between you, the student, the entire campus, and the federal government. Now that you know who your ISS advisors are and what we do, I'd like to take a moment to introduce our resources, the best way to communicate with us, and how to submit requests to ISS so that we can assist you in the best way possible. The ISS office is located in room 120 of the north wing of the Pollock Library, or Pollock Library North. We are about a 5 to 10 meter walk directly from Starbucks, so if you see the mermaid logo, you know you're close. It is important to know the location of our office because this is where we have all of our in-person advising. Speaking of in-person advising, we offer walk-in appointments where you can visit without an appointment to talk to an advisor. However, before coming in, please be sure to check the ISS website first to learn what time walk-in hours are for that day. As you can see, the website offers a lot of information for you to explore. We have sections for new students, continuing students, J1 exchange students. We have a section with information about maintaining your F1 status, a section on employment while in F1 status, a section on travel and visas, plus much more. Below, you see 3 tabs, one for advising services, one to submit a request, and one for the ISS portal. The 2 I want to focus on are advising services and the ISS portal. To learn the walk-in advising hours for the day, click on Advising Services and scroll down the page until you see the table with days and times. Typically, we offer walk-in advising 4 days a week. We also offer virtual advising. However, we try to make this available first to our international alumni who are still in the US working via optional practical training. So we ask that you please come to walk-in advising whenever possible. However, if you are unable to make it to campus for an appointment, you can scroll further down the page, click on Meet with an ISS Advisor tab, and select an appointment time. If you do not see any times, that means all appointments for that day have already been booked. Note that appointment times for each day are released between 8:30 and 9 in the morning, so check back the next morning for new appointment times. Next, I'd like to introduce you to the ISS portal. The ISS portal is kind of your one-stop location for submitting requests to ISS, checking on the status of a request, retrieving documents provided by ISS, and so much more. Seriously, you need to take time to learn all about the portal because it will be your most useful tool in communicating with the ISS office during your time at Cal State Fullerton. To access the ISS portal, click on the ISS portal tab. You'll then be taken to the ISS portal login page. Log in using your CSUF username and password. Once logged in, you'll see 4 tabs near the top of the screen. The tab you'll use the most is the 4th, the Requests and Documents tab. Click on it and you will see a number of sections. Scroll down below Messages and you'll see the section called What Can We Help You With? And a number of different images. Each of these images represent a different type of request that you might submit to the ISS office at some point during your time at CSUF. For example, you have the Concurrent Enrollment Request form, you have the Final Semester Reduced Course Load form, OPT Request form, Travel Signature I-20 Request form, and many others. To submit a request, you simply click on the icon, fill out the form, and then click Submit. An international student advisor will receive your request and process it within a few days. In addition to submitting requests, you can also track ongoing requests, completed requests, and documents. If you have requested a document and an ISS advisor has completed the request, you will find the document in the document section. We do have one more method for communicating with the ISS office, and that is by sending email to the ISS email address. However, please be aware that due to the vast volume of email that we receive, it usually turns out to be the slowest way to receive an answer from ISS. So I recommend speaking directly with an advisor via walk-ins or virtual appointments instead. However, if you do wish to send an email to ISS, please be sure to follow these rules. Always send email using your Cal State Fullerton email address. Remember to include your name, campus-wide ID, and a US phone number in your email. Provide a brief description in the topic line of the email. Do not write urgent or emergency unless it is a true emergency. Again, please note that it may take a few days before we can answer your email, so if you would like more immediate service, please speak directly with an advisor. In the next section, I'm going to go over some of the important rules and requirements that you must follow in order to maintain your F1 status. It is important to remember that it is always much easier to maintain your status than to later try to fix your status if it becomes broken. When you received admission to Cal State Fullerton, you were issued a Form I-20 so that you could then apply for your F1 visa to enter the US. Or if you are a transfer student, you could continue your studies inside the US. Pages 1 and 2 of the I-20 are the exciting part, containing your name, program level, major, work authorizations, and so on. However, page 3, while often ignored, is equally important, so I'm going to take time in this video to go over some of its key components. Student attestation. You should read everything on this page carefully. Be sure that you understand the terms and conditions concerning your admission and stay in the United States as a non-immigrant student before signing the student attestation on page 1 of the Form I-20AB. The law provides severe penalties for knowingly and willfully falsifying or concealing a material fact or using any false document in the submission of this form. The point is that maintaining your F1 status is an important matter, and you should take it seriously. We in the ISS office are here to provide guidance, but please understand that it is your responsibility to be aware of the rules and regulations to maintain your F1 status. So what are some examples of these rules and regulations? Well, first, remember that you are here on an F1 student visa, which means that your studies must always come first. Perhaps the most important rule is that you must always be enrolled full-time each semester. For undergraduates, this means being enrolled in a minimum of 12 units, of which 9 units must either be in-person or hybrid coursework. The same applies to students participating in the University Semester Abroad program. For graduate students, it depends on your specific program, but generally you must be enrolled in a minimum of 9 units, 6 of which must be in person. There are some exceptions to the 9-unit minimum, and if you are a graduate student, I encourage you to visit the ISS website to determine what the minimum number of units is for your program. Finally, please check with the registration guide, whether spring or fall, for important enrollment dates and deadlines. Other important rules are making academic progress to remain on schedule to graduate, ensuring that you have proper authorization before working, and obtaining signatures on your I-20 before traveling, and making sure your documents remain valid. These things are important because if you lose your F1 status, you may be required to leave the country immediately, or at the very least, have to go through a lengthy, complicated, and expensive process to regain your status. Report to school named on your Form I-20 and visa. Upon your first entry to the United States, you must report to the DSO at the school named on your Form I-20 and your F1 visa, unless you are exempt from visa requirements. If you decide to attend another school before you enter the United States, you must present a Form I-20 from the new school to a U.S. consular officer for a new F1 visa that names the new school. Failure to enroll in the school by the program start date on your Form I-20 may result in the loss of your student status and subject you to deportation. This paragraph is why we stress the importance of the multi-step process of checking in with the ISS office. To complete the F1 student check-in process, please do all of the following. Step 1. View the mandatory New Student Orientation video, which you are doing right now. Step 2. After watching the video, complete the quiz. Step 3. Review your U.S. phone number and U.S. physical address in the ISS portal and update if needed. Step 4. Upload your Form I-20, your I-94, and your F1 visa. Citizens of Canada do not need to upload a visa. Step 5. Complete the International Student Agreement form and submit to ISS. Please note that once you have submitted the request, the status of the request will change to Submitted. If approved by ISS, the status will change to Completed. If we are unable to approve the request because you have missed any or all of the requirements stated before, the request will be sent back to you and the status changed to Clarification Requested. ISS will clarify in the request what is incomplete, and you can make the necessary updates before resubmitting. Employment. Unlawful employment in the United States is a reason for terminating your F1 status and deporting you from the United States. You may be employed on campus at your school. You may be employed off campus in curricular practical training, CPT, if you have written permission from your DSO. You may apply to U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, for off-campus employment authorization in 3 circumstances. 1. Employment with an international organization. 2. Severe and unexpected economic hardship. And 3. Optional practical training, OPT, related to your degree. You must have written authorization from USCIS before you begin work. Contact your DSO for details. Your spouse or child, F2 classification, may not work in the United States. This was mentioned earlier in the video, but it is important enough to go over again. There are a variety of types of employment. The first is on-campus employment. You are eligible to take part in on-campus employment from the program start date on your I-20, but it is important to note that employment is limited to 20 hours per week during the spring and fall semesters. Also, while on-campus employment does not require authorization from ISS, you will need to acquire a Social Security number to work, and can receive a support letter from the ISS office by completing the request form in the ISS portal. Remember, however, that your studies must always take priority over employment. For off-campus employment, you must always receive proper authorization before beginning employment. Failure to do so is a serious violation of your F1 visa status. There are different types of work authorization, including optional practical training and curricular practical training, but I will not go over the details of them in this video. Instead, I encourage you to attend one of our employment workshops throughout the semester. Period of stay. You may remain in the United States while taking a full course of study or during authorized employment after your program. F1 status ends and you are required to leave the United States on the earliest of the following dates. 1. The program end date on your Form I-20 plus 60 days. 2. The end date of your OPT plus 60 days. Or 3. The termination of your program for any other reason. Contact your DSO for details. The program end date on your I-20 is perhaps the most important date for you to pay attention to. As noted on page 3 of your I-20, you are granted a certain period of time to complete your studies. If you are approaching the end date of your I-20 and you need more time to complete your studies, you must submit a request to ISS for an extension of that end date. Moreover, you must submit this request before reaching this end date. Once that date has passed, we can no longer extend your I-20. You will then be in your 60-day grace period. Notice of address. When you arrive in the United States, you must report your U.S. address to your DSO. If you move, you must notify your DSO of your new address within 10 days of the change of address. The DSO will update CVIS with your new address. Address and phone number changes can be reported via the Cal State Fullerton Student Portal. Remember that you are responsible for reporting any changes to your personal information to ISS within 10 days of the change. Endorsement of page 2 for re-entry. If there have been no substantive changes in information, DSOs may endorse page 2 of the Form I-20 for the student and/or the F2 dependents to re-enter the United States. If there have been substantive changes, the DSO should issue and sign a new Form I-20 that includes those changes. If you decide to travel internationally, please plan ahead so that you can submit a request for a travel signature on your I-20 in a timely manner. Also, please do not miss classes in order to travel, or if you do, it is your responsibility to make arrangements with your professors in advance. We highly recommend that you submit a request for an I-20 travel signature at least 3 weeks prior to departing on your trip, as it may take the ISS office time to process your request. Note that we do not process same-day requests. Once we process your request, we will upload the new I-20 with travel signature in your ISS portal and send you an email stating that it is ready. You can then print and travel with the new I-20, which you will need to present to the Customs and Border Protection official when you re-enter the United States. All international students in F1 visa status are required to purchase the school-approved health insurance plan before enrolling in classes. A hold is placed on accounts of students who have not yet purchased the insurance. For the spring semester, the hold is placed in October, and for the fall semester, it is placed in April. You have the option of purchasing the insurance for the entire year or for one semester at a time. Unfortunately, we cannot accept any alternative insurance plans except for students whose education is sponsored by their home government. Remember to always carry your insurance ID with you, and whenever possible, seek medical care on campus before going off campus. Finally, before making an appointment or seeking care, please check that the hospital, doctor, or healthcare professional accepts your CSUF insurance. Finally, we want to encourage you to always be on alert for scams. Please know that the government will never call you on the phone. So if you receive a call from someone claiming to be a government official, hang up the phone and notify the ISS office. No matter how convincing they might sound, never ever give your personal information. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. We are excited to see you here at Cal State Fullerton. Please note that, though much of this video discussed rules and regulations, the ISS office is here for you if you need to discuss academic struggles, cultural adjustments, campus activities, or any other subject. For more information about events involving our international student community, please feel free to scan the QR code on your screen to see our Instagram page. Oh, and one more thing. Please remember to complete the quiz that accompanies this video.